What's up guys, Bryce here, and we're back at it again for another video. And we are back, but this time we are with the new Radicals in Season 3 of iRacing. So if you didn't know, Season 3 just came out about last week, I believe, and I was actually away at the time, and they did add a bunch of new cars, the Radical being one of them, the SR10. I'll put a picture on screen right now of the real life car. It's pretty much identical as it is iRacing, and usually most of the things in iRacing are basically 100% authentic and identical. Haven't been posting much since I've finished the North American Racing League GT3 season. Felt that I needed just a little bit of a break, and I'm definitely back with more motivation than I've had in the past, but definitely was lacking a little bit with basically posting just non-stop GT3 videos. But the Radical in general is my favorite car in iRacing. The SR8 was my favorite, so when they came out with the SR10, I knew I had to hop on it and get it as soon as I could. I also tried out the BMW GT3, or not the BMW, the Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo, which was another awesome car. But the Radical just suits me. I just love a high-powered, lightweight car. It's a lot of fun. Definitely feels pretty similar to the SR8, honestly. It's definitely a lot more stable. I would say it's a lot more stable and tamed down version of the SR8. But it's the same speed as far as I could tell. I did some laps at Donington and I was only about a second off from the SR8's time, my best time, but that could be a lot of variables and not much practice with the Radicals in general. But that was my finding, so I'm not really sure if the car is quicker. Maybe it's the same speed, maybe it's slower by just a tad bit, but it definitely is just a joy to drive. This car is really fun. Usually the first few laps are a struggle because the tires are cold and you can't really heat up the fronts as quickly as other cars because the car is so light that it's hard to heat the fronts up because the front doesn't have a lot of weight on it. So it'll take a few laps to heat up, so you're going to be dealing with a lot of understeer, and then the car will sort of get to grips with the temperature, and then it'll be nice and fun to drive. But it is definitely fun to drive all around. This is kind of the week in between, so a lot of unranked races I've been doing, so you can kind of just hop in here and just do a race without having to worry about your I rating. But you should still keep it clean, as I do think your safety rating does count, but I'm not 100% sure because I did do a few races and I haven't seen any ratings happening to my safety rating or my I rating. But yes, I will be doing the North American Racing League Porsche Cup, which is going to be actually in a few days from recording this video. So that's going to be another series that I'm going to be doing. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Hopefully I can get out some track guides as well. I'm a little late for Okayama, which is the first race. I should be able to do it before the first race of the season. I did a lot of Porsche Cup racing in the off season. I enjoyed it very much. At first, I didn't really like the Porsche Cup. I thought it was actually sort of a weird car to drive, but once you kind of get the handle of it, because it's a rear engine car, I'm usually used to driving mid-engine cars, just like the Radical's a mid-engine car. The Porsche, really, the engine sits all the way in the rear, which means that all the weight is in the back of the car, and just makes it tricky to drive. You sort of need to trail brake and just glide into the corner and get on the power smoothly, but also quickly, and then the rear will kind of squat down, and that's kind of the classic Porsche Cup driving style for you there. But it's definitely difficult, but I do enjoy the Porsche Cup a lot once you get the grips of it. I did have a few wins in it, which was very nice, and I really want to drive the SR10 more and do a lot of ranked races. I was pretty successful with it, the SR8. It was just a whole lot of fun, but I have GT3 Porsche Cup to focus on. In the meantime, it is open setup as well, so it's going to be a little bit more tuning of the setup and just a bit more time in general to sort of put into that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be doing GT3 for season 4. I might just take this season off and just really focus on the channel and just try to post and live stream more, and then come back to GT3 sometime in the future. I do like GT3s. They're not my favorite though. I first started sim racing driving open wheel cars, and I've never driven an open wheel car besides the Indy car on an oval circuit in iRacing. So definitely plan to do that soon. But this video is about the Radical SR10, or just kind of like a coming back video from this short little break, whatever you want to call it. But the SR10 is a lot of fun. I highly recommend you do check this car out. It was kind of a surprise to me. Maybe some of you knew that it was coming, but to the overall community, it was definitely a big surprise, and very happy with it as well. We're just going to skip to the end of the race where I actually did get past, and you can see some actual racing on track. So going down into turn 1 here, this is like halfway through the race. This is the car behind. We had a bit of pressure. He decided to make a move around the outside. This is Imola. Really awesome track. So he's going to decide to go around the outside. We stay on the inside of the track here, and he isn't able to get the move done. He's going to sort of cut back, and I think this is actually where he gets through in turn 4, I believe, or 3. Depends if you count that first left-hander on the straight. And he gets the move done, and he's gonna move himself up into P1. I wasn't really stressing it too much, just because, one, it is unranked, and I also knew that I was quicker overall, so I kind of just sat behind him, and then in the next lap you'll see when I get past. But Radical Racing is just a lot of fun. I noticed that the slipstream isn't as overpowered as it is in the SR8. The SR8 slipstream is pretty ridiculous. SR10 isn't as much, maybe just me, but I find that it's not as powerful, maybe just due to the fact that the car is different. Obviously he goes a little wide there, and here we are really close, right up on the back of him. We're not going to make any fake search, and stay behind him. Chicane is pretty deadly as well. My first time driving Imola actually in iRacing. I've driven it in other games. Off tracks are really easy to get around here, and you'll see here, this is where I just wanted to maximize the exit going onto the straight. We brake pretty late. The car was definitely oversteering a lot going into that downhill corner. You can use a lot of curb. I find that this Radical isn't as lethal with the curbs as the SR8. The SR8 was definitely very lethal, but this car is still very lethal with the curbs, and you have to be very careful. He's going to defend the inside. It's really tricky to decide if you want to overtake around the inside or the outside. We decided to go around the outside because I just felt more confident on the brakes around the outside. You can brake later because you're going to be opening up the corner, and we just sort of slipped through there. We had a bit of netcode, a bit of contact, but nothing that I was worried about too much, and we take the lead of the race again, and we'll skip to the end of the race so you can see what happens on the last lap. So I'll just show you the last lap here. He was pretty close, as you can see, and he made a move towards the end when my pace was kind of falling off just slightly. The car looks pretty good. I personally like the look of the SR8 a little bit better. I think this one definitely looks more modern. The sort of hood is a little bit high. It looks a little funky, but overall the car looks really cool. It's almost like a dumbed down LMP car in a way. I love the way the rear looks with the headlights and the grille on the back as well, but definitely has that Radical look, which is really nice. And I'm yet to make a livery for this car as well. That's definitely something that I need to do. That's going to take a little bit of time, and I definitely want to make it look really nice because I do want to put a lot of time into this car, as I find that this is just the car that I feel the most comfortable in out of all the cars in iRacing. Maybe it's just my driving style. Just like to throw the car into corners, which is what I'm pretty good at. He definitely got a bit of a better run through the chicane. You can see how close he is now, but he's not really side by side or anything like that, so I wasn't really worried too much, but I just had a funny feeling he was going to just shoot it down the inside and do a little dive bomb, which is exactly what he did. He threw it down the inside. I knew he was doing it. I cut back a little bit, and I kind of just planted the car there, a bit of contact there, and we come out with the win in an unranked race. So nothing really crazy. It's unranked, no I rating, just for fun, pretty much. But yeah, I definitely need to make videos on this, on things like this where you can sort of defend, and attacking defending is really where I feel like people lack in iRacing in general. I think this move was fine. I honestly think he did a really good job at keeping it under control. He should have just, I don't really know, I kind of just planted the car there, so he didn't really have anywhere to go. But that's something that you can also do. But that is going to be it for this video. SR10s are pretty awesome. Highly recommend you check them out, as well as the two new tracks, Sandown and Fuji. Fuji's a absolutely amazing track, and Sandown as well. I think that's how you say it. But that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Porsche Cup will be next on this channel, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.